These days, seeing reigning Formula E champion Antonio Felix Da Costa win a race is hardly a surprise. However, that has not always been the case, as it took the Portuguese driver a while to find his groove in the championship with the right machinery at his disposal. Way back in Season 1, he was racing for Team Aguri, and by Da Costa's own admission, it was a tough year, both on and off track, with him still coming to terms with being overlooked by Red Bull for a promotion to Formula 1 in favour of Daniel Kvyat, and initially being reluctant to join the Formula E ranks. However, a very fortuitous moment of triumph would come at only his third race in Argentina, where Da Costa would line up in 8th for the first ever Buenos Aires ePrix. It was Sebastian Buemi on pole for Edams who would lead away at the start, and who was still ahead after the car swaps, despite briefly getting held up by backmarker Michele Cerruti during this phase. The safety car had also been called for Karun Chandhok's stricken Mahindra at the same time Buemi pitted, causing some confusion about the order. But once that had been sorted out, it was Buemi followed by Lucas Di Grassi and Nick Heidfeld, with Da Costa by now having made his way up to 4th. He would briefly slip behind Sam Bird's ReGen, but that was all fairly academic, as Bird had already been caught running a red light in the pit lane and a drive-through was inevitable. That still left 3 cars separating Da Costa from the lead, however. The racing gods must have been watching over the Portuguese driver that day, as the leaders would be eliminated one by one over the remaining laps. First to fall was Sebastian Buemi, the Edams clipping the wall at turns 8 and 9, breaking the suspension. The Abt Scheffler garage celebrated as Di Grassi took the lead, but their jubilation would prove to be somewhat premature, as just a couple of laps later Di Grassi's own suspension collapsed as he went over the curbs at the very same corner. That left quick Nick Heidfeld in the Venturi with an open road ahead, and what seemed like a great opportunity for redemption after being memorably swiped out by Nico Prost at the final corner while leading in Beijing. But as commentator Jack Nicholls put it, we've seen enough leaders not to count our little German chickens just yet, and so it would prove, as with just 2 laps to run, Heidfeld was slapped with a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane, leaving the way clear for Antonio Felix Da Costa to take the flag. As if the situation up front wasn't crazy enough, an intense battle had by this stage broken out for what would be the final 2 podium positions, with Jaime Al-Jashari, Jean-Eric Vergne, Nico Prost, Daniel Abt and eventual champion Nelson Piquet among those involved. Piquet, who eventually took 3rd, remarked on the radio that it didn't make sense he was on the podium. Perhaps he was too distracted to notice the drama and attrition unfolding at the front. For Da Costa, it was back to reality from that point on, as Team Aguri would never again make the podium, struggling on until the end of Season 2 before selling up in 2016. However, Da Costa would eventually return to the team under its new guise as DS Techeetah, and together they'd sweep both championships. Nick Heidfeld, as in Formula 1, would never achieve a victory in Formula E, maintaining a winless streak in single-seaters stretching all the way back to 1999. The 2015 Buenos Aires ePrix proved the last lap of Beijing was no fluke, and was an early demonstration of just how drama-packed and entertaining Formula E could be on a regular basis. For those wanting to watch the full race, it is still being hosted on the official Formula E YouTube channel, along with a short highlights video, both of which will be linked on screen now. You've been watching ReGen. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more anecdotes and analysis from Formula E and motorsport.